Now I'm going to bring in the saddle since he's doing pretty decent with his body target. I'm just doing a little bit of a review here with my hands. Then I'll bring in the saddle and then I'm going to start putting the saddle on him. So there's his stay cue. I'm going to go grab the saddle, which he's been doing fantastic with. I'll just ask him to stay and then I'll go grab whatever I need to grab. So he's been so good with that and it's very, very handy. I should have taught that cue a very long time ago. So I'm just having him target the saddle here. I just have a really lightweight Wintech saddle that I'm going to use here, and I had another one I was going to use, but I cannot find it. It was like an older one that I wanted to like pull off of him and like drop to the ground, so I'm going to have to find that one because I don't really want to do that with this one, but we'll have to see. I might have to do that. So my goal here is he's kind of targeting with his face there. I want him to bring his neck to touch the saddle, so I'm going to have to use my hand because like just like when I started in the beginning when I started teaching him the body target with to my hand, I had to use the like handheld target. So now I'm just using my hand to help him learn to touch the saddle. So there, that was really nice. He did like a little half step over to the saddle. So I'm using my hand as a just another target to transition him to the saddle. And then I'm gonna start just getting him ready for me to put the saddle on. So I'm kind of like touching with it and then I'll put it on his back and I'll just click while it's on there for a second and then take it off. And he has had the saddle on 2 or 3 times. He's pretty cool with that, and specifically the English saddle, maybe four, something like that. It's not been a whole lot, but he has had it on a few times. We have not yet tightened the girth with a saddle. He's definitely worn the surcingle quite a bit, but not an actual saddle. So my goal with this is to get to that point. And right now I'm just going to build up the amount of time that he is okay with having it on his back. That's my goal here. I don't want to go and just put it on his back, tighten it up, and hope for the best. I want everything to be nice and solid, and I don't want him to be afraid. I don't want him to have a bad experience with it. I want him to enjoy having it on his back. And the first step here is having him target it. So just like we did on the other side, he targeted his nose, he targeted his cheek. I'm going to ask for his neck here. That's beautiful. That looks fantastic. I'm really happy with that because he's only had 3 or 4 lessons on body targeting, and now he's switching over to actually targeting the saddle. I'm really happy with that. I didn't ask him to target the saddle with his withers because he's not super solid on the wither target by itself, like just to my hand. So I felt like he wouldn't do the best with the saddle because I'm adding too many things. So I'm happy with just the like head and neck targeting. And then I did like a little halfway. I clicked while it was on halfway, and then now I'm clicking while it's all the way on, but I just had it on for less than a second and pull it right off. And he's fine with this. I just wanted to check all my bases here. So then it's on for 1 second, I click, I pull it off. Then I'm gonna go ahead and put it back on him for 1 second, click while it's on him, and then take it off. And then I will feed him. And then I'm just gonna repeat this. So he has had the saddle just kind of sit on him for a few seconds. He's also had it on with the pad too, but I just want to build up the amount of time that he has the saddle on his back, and then I will start introducing the girth, and then tightening the girth, and then wearing the actual saddle, and then moving with the saddle, just like we do with the surcingle, same kind of thing. So sit on his back, 1, 2, I'm gonna click, and then feed. So what I'm doing here is I did like 3 sets of 1 second duration on his back, and then I'll put the saddle on for 2 seconds, then I'll click and I do that 3 times and then I will go ahead and do 3 seconds. That was my goal for the first lesson. So count, I think that was about 2 though. I'll click while it's on his back and then I will feed him. I love that he's nice and relaxed. He's not doing, he doesn't look tense at all. 1, 2, 3, click, take it off. Yeah, he looks really good. I like his body position. I like where his head and neck is at. I think he's got one hind leg relaxed there. 1, 2, 3, click. And then that time he wanted to take a step forward. So when we got to 3, he wanted to like move around. And I'm not super sure why, if it was he was a little worried about the saddle or if he thought like me counting to 3 because I'm counting out loud was a cue for something else. Because he goes back and then he seems like he's still somewhat relaxed. Like he does have maybe a little bit of tension in his neck, but that's kind of what we were looking or working through on the next couple lessons is when we got to 3 he wanted to just take a step forward. So I don't know if he was necessarily bored or was uncomfortable. I'm trying to figure that one out still, but take that movement as information. So I go back, I just did 1 second, now I'm doing 2 seconds, and I'll build it back up. I don't have to do the 3 sets. I just wanted to go back and just make sure he was cool with the saddle so he wasn't afraid of it. So I count to 3. He kind of did a little bit of a lean, but it wasn't a whole step, so I'm going to reward that. So I'm just kind of paying attention and just kind of seeing what it could be. I don't think he's necessarily worried, but I want to make sure that's not true because it could be. So I'm just gonna want to check through all my bases. So he did pretty well, and then I'm just gonna build up on that lesson throughout the next few lessons that I do with him. Um, so I'm gonna give him a jackpot and end the session for the day.